the last presentation, that Putin knows every step as a long-term plan, and he doesn't really think short-term. He thinks long-term, and perhaps changing the nuclear doctrine of Russia is his last, the last thing he has in his arsenal. What do you think of that?
أعتقد الرئيس بوتين engine in a very deep in a strategic way, but it's not up to Putin's view or his perspective, but it's only relying on the behavior of the Western arms as there are two teams. So we cannot take in a perception of one vis-a-vis the other. So the U.S. Look at the war, it's a type of business. I have some figures in February 2022. Russia and China, along with 23% of the trade balance in Europe, and versus America, it's 15. In the last August, the contribution of Russia and China in the trade scale decreased, and the U.S. has reached it to 17%, as the U.S. enabled through this work to expel Russia out of this market in a way or another. Both of them look at it to the game. Russia look at it to urging Ukraine that in a part of reorder or re-establish the world order. This confrontation, Russia is paying a lot about, and we became the before two options. Either is a slow death of Russia through this continued provocation, and the second choice is a comprehensive nuclear war. Therefore, Putin had to change his nuclear doctrine, and the question proposed by U.S. isn't good enough. Either the death for all, or sit around the table and to agree on all the security concern. And I think Russia is only wanting to more than a longer-standing agreement, as the threat to Europe is not Russia but the USA, as a long time ago made it a missile shield in the Czech Republic and Poland, proclaiming it is against North Korea and the Iranian missiles, and which was a lie, and declared that this range of missiles is only a few meters. And other factors, the issue isn't new. It started in 1990 when the U.S. started to go out of a joint agreement around made by the Russian. The issue, unfortunately, the two parties play at the brink of collapse, and we don't know when would be come to an end or escalation.
Laurie, now there are also perhaps steps by NATO and by the US that Russia is not very happy about. One of these steps is the new US base that is in northern Poland. What do you think the impact of such steps can have on the conflict? And there are also perhaps an understanding inside Russia that perhaps it's time or Moscow can perhaps attack one of the NATO countries, specifically in Eastern Europe.
Yes, that is why for over 1,000 days that those bordering countries, those NATO allies, have either tried to increase the amount of NATO members, Finland, etc., being able to, including, obviously, we want Ukraine to be included in that as well, but countries like Estonia, etc., that are along the border that realize that if Putin decided to go and attack them just like he did to Ukraine and offer an offensive like the one he did on Ukraine, that they are just as much in jeopardy. And what do they have? What mechanisms, what policies, what rules, what international charters do they have in place that would help protect them? And they have seen over the last 1,000 days the aggression that Russia has taken against the people of Ukraine, but not just Ukrainians, against Polish people as well, launching not just on the border, but going into the borders within the land of Poland. We all see what's happening. And then if you want to talk about escalatory measures, let's all not forget that just recently, 10,000 North Korean troops were deployed into Russia to help defend Russian troops against Ukrainian forces, teaming up with Russia. So Putin already has enlisted other authoritarian or communist leaders into helping him with his plans. He's told everybody what his plans are. So we all have to believe him. And the United States, President Biden is trying to do as much as he can in this short window. Now, again, I will say, do I wish he would have done taken these actions sooner that are much more aggressive, that would have helped the Ukrainian forces and military get further along than where they are now,
Right.
Not just be able to defend themselves, but actually have offensive gains. This is where we are, unfortunately.